Be careful of those island boys. Little girl, use your head. They will tear you up like a paper toy. Oh, no, no, no. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, no, no, no. When they smile at you, darling, and wink, it's a leap of force that'll bring you down. Trying to get you tipsy like a drink. Love drunk girls all over town.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Rumbi.
Welcome to
It's Layered. We're in a long distance friendship that started nearly 20 years ago when we were in high school.
We'll be talking about all things life, love, family, anything and everything else under the sun.
Delve deeper with us, because in life, you know, zvinemalayers.
Malayers.
What about online dating for you? Did you ever did you do it? Did you do online dating for the people on the podcast? Like, did you?
So my experience of online dating was trash. Like, can I say it again? It was trash. Cause like I didn't do it because I was, as I said before, I was going out a lot, you know, in a previous episode about how we evolved in our love lives. And career-wise, I started initially in my career, I was going out, and I finally met someone, then we went into a long-term relationship. So then when we broke up, the dating sphere had changed, you know. And not only was I not so eager to go out all the time, but so people online dating more, it's more accepted, I guess. It wasn't as creepy as it used to be, always made out to be.
Yeah.
So like, you set up your profile and here you are already an other in a predominantly, you know, Caucasian society. And oh girl, the racial stereotypes.
Really?
Oh girl, do you have a big, all these, I was just like,
oh my
and this was pre-Tinder, pre-Bumble, so I couldn't really like, I think we had to do like, I don't remember what it was called, RSVP or one of those. eHarmony was there. I think eHarmony was there. But like, it was that where it's like you both get to interact, so you can't really control it. I think I was on there for like 2 days, and
you're like, I'm done. Yeah,
I can't.
Yeah.
And I think I made, and I think for me, it's so important to connect face to face, and a lot of these guys would string you along to just be like. So a lot of times after like a texting for a little bit, I would be like, can we meet for a coffee or whatever? Because like I wanted to move it off the phone and more into. And sometimes some guys would continue wanting to text. And you start thinking, are you actually, you know, and this was even before the term catfish.
Yes.
Like,
what is catfishing? Please explain to people who don't know catfishing.
Catfishing is pretty much pretending to be someone online who you are not.
Yes.
So posting someone else's photos or using whatever to, you know, obviously lure girls in or boys in even.
Yes.
So usually obviously, you know, use like maybe even photos of a friend who doesn't know or Google stock photos, who knows. But luckily that never happened to me. But I do know like a few people who've experienced it now. And like, but for me, online dating just didn't, it just always fizzled. You think you met someone and then you meet them and maybe the date isn't as fun or so I really had a bad experience with online. I do recommend it, but I had a bad experience.
I like how she recommends it after saying it's trash. I'm like, sure, I'm inspired. Let me go online.
My experience was trash.
No, I get you. It's fair. I think for me, so I have experience for sure, online dating. In SA, I went online dating on Tinder when it was becoming a thing, and I knew people who'd gotten married or were together via, you know, Tinder before it got really like insane, like dirty. And so I think I went on a date and I I went on a date. It was like neither here nor there. And I think essentially the person just wanted to hook up in essence. Then there was another guy who was a no-show. That happens with online dating. Like someone can be like,
yes.
I'm coming, and it's like, don't show. And then I got over it.
I don't get that.
It's just not wanting to say no, like people not wanting to be upfront, right? So and then I was like, oh, over it, not gonna do it. And then when I was here, friends came to visit last year for summer. We like traveled together. And we're just chatting. We're like, Rumbi, you should try online dating. You're saying, you want companionship. Like, it's difficult to meet people. Obviously, English is not the language here, so it becomes more complex. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. So I went online, and you do meet trash. Let me not tell people that you do not. You do meet guys who are just like inappropriate. Like, you really need a filter where you're just like, nope.
A filter.
Like, you literally need to know how, and now people are being more blunt about what they're looking for, even on their profiles. And they have little acronyms about what they're looking for. So I literally put on my profile, not here for one night stands. Like, I think I put it in my actual profile just to dissuade people. And yes, you do end up chatting with some guys. Some guys just chat and they get tired. Some people don't respond. So I did Bumble and Tinder. Bumble was slower, I found. I don't think they have as many registered users. Probably that's why. And then Tinder, I really had no faith in Tinder, honestly. But I actually went on a lot of dates through Tinder. And I think Tinder is different per region.
Yeah.
I know in SA, I don't think it's as like, people are a bit more ratchet, as I hear from that. Yeah. So here, I think there's a mix. You'll get the ratchet, so that's why you have to filter and you have to have time. That's the other thing. Like, people think online dating, we'll connect, we'll click, let's go, boom, boom, boom. No, you have to give it time. You can't be like, I'm on it for a week and I'm done. So I was on it for say July, August, September, maybe 3 months. I want to say 3 months. But yeah, and that's how I met my current boyfriend. Like, it was on Tinder. And literally, what was great though is in our initial conversation, he was like, I would like to meet. Like, he was very upfront about that. And he came out to meet me and dates. And he was very like communicative in that, I'd like to see you again. So that was also great. I wasn't fighting to be like, does this guy want to meet me or not? So yeah.
It's a good sign.
Yeah, for sure. So all to say, there is hope. It might be a lot of waiting, but there is hope as well.
Girl, they better be, because most people are now hiding behind, online.
Yeah.
So
this
you
is
have
true.
to.
This is true.
It has to be in your repertoire of how to meet people.
For sure. And you just do it like a hobby. Like, just doing it like, when you get home from work, or like just go on for, I don't know how to explain it. And you have to also put time. You have to put time to chat to people. There's no lie. Like, you're not going to know, you're not going to get a sense. Like, you can't expect it to be.
Well, that's true of any sort of dating. For me, I met my husband in, at a club, obviously on a night out, and then you're not expecting to meet someone.
Yeah.
And then you do, girl meets boy, and you buy a drink, and then exchange numbers, and then that was that, But there is obviously that initial phase when you're texting and going on your first date, and it's investment.
Yes.
And you don't know, especially when you've been jaded from dating, you don't know if it's just gonna be another fling, or is this gonna be somewhere, after 3 months, am I gonna just be like, oh, who? I don't know him anymore, kind of thing. Or is this gonna, you just never know. And I think it's just about keep going, keep
hope alive.
There's no if that's what you want for yourself, to meet someone, and that's just the only way to do it.
And I think initially there's a lot of stigma. Like, I realized the stigma had died when my own mother asked me if I tried online dating. But
that's also because of our age, though. I'm sure when you're 22, she would never be good.
But I think there's a stigma like, oh, you're supposed to meet someone like in the physical space first. And I used to have a bit of that, for sure. I think I'm just someone who's like, I'll always try something until it doesn't work. So that's why I did try online dating again. I was like, okay, I'm in a different space. Let me try it. If it doesn't work, whatever. But there is a stigma around like, ooh, we're supposed to meet in person. But if you think about, you know, if you have a job like opportunities, how many have you been connected with someone virtually? Like it could be via email, it could be via, you know, social media. That is kind of like online networking, or made a friend from another country via, you know what I mean? So our society is shaped in that way, now more so than ever. So, you know, I think there needs to be a kind of like a shift around that.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. But yes, so tell us a little more about your hubsters, because we're now going to go into like intercultural and interracial dating. So tell us a bit about.
Girl.
Yeah.
So my husband's Masal. He comes, even though he has a French name, he comes from Germany. Yes. I thought I met a ooh la la French man.
And then he's like, nope.
It's a German. So yeah, I always say to him, and I've said it to a few people, like he's my greatest surprise, because I never thought that this is the kind of guy I would, in some ways it's exactly what I would have wanted and exactly what I love. In some ways I'm totally surprised. Like obviously English is not his first language.
Yes.
So it's also learning a completely different culture, separate,
Yes.
not only separate to Zimbabwean culture, but also separate to Western culture in the terms of English,
yes,
British English, which is what we relate with. Because Germany is also like, German is just its own thing.
Yes.
So it's been exciting in that aspect. Interracial wise, I think I came to terms a long time ago.
Yes.
Of how to navigate being in an interracial relationship. Again, being in a predominantly Caucasian space, you had to learn, adapt or die in that situation, you know.
Yes.
So I wasn't, but I love that when we first met, he never fetishized me or said to me, I mean, maybe he was thinking it like, oh, I got a girl with a bit of booty. Maybe he was, but he never dared said it to me.
Yeah.
Condescending, or, you know, of course he says like he loves my booty now, but
yeah.
Like,
that wasn't he didn't lead with that.
It wasn't a thing. Yeah, exactly. I was just a normal girl that he thought it was interested in, and asked to go on a date, you know. So
I'm with
that. So I guess I'm very much team intercultural, team interracial, as long as the communication is good.
Yeah.
And expectations are set, and they're set from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like if you know in your culture, when your parents retire, they have to come and live with you, for example. I think that's quite common in like Asian cultures, especially like Japanese, have to, especially if you're the first son, I think. So it's like things like that. If you're dating someone outside of your culture, you would have to let them know, like off the bat, when things are to get serious. So I think it's like that. Like, so for me, when I first met myself and things were getting serious, and if we ever went into talking about not necessarily our own wedding or our own marriage, but marriage in general, I would always bring it up. Well, in Zimbabwe, we do lobola.
Yes.
And for people in lobola, rora is a whole, it's a bride price.
Yeah. A
whole day and months before dedicated to planning this day. The groom's family comes over to the bride's family and offers a bride price. This bride price predominantly is decided beforehand, so you kind of know when you're getting in, but there are
a lot of curveballs. A lot of
surprises, because it involves not only your parents, but it's mainly like the people who are really vocal on the day are like your dad's sisters, because they're seen to be your voice. They're the ones you go to as a woman.
Yes.
And obviously he comes with his uncle typically, and there's obviously his male relations, and they discuss how to negotiate. And also it's not all paid on one day. So you always owe your bride's family, as a man, you always have to look out and take care of them over the years, as the years go. So obviously I had to explain all of that to him, because he's German. He's like, I'm paying for you? Like, what do you mean? Like, what? What's this?
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're also straddling Western culture. So I do want to have an engagement ring. I do want to have, if I could, a white wedding, because that's also what I've grown up thinking.
Yes.
You know, so I think intercultural and interracial, I do support it, but I do think there's certain challenges along the way.
Yeah.
And the only way to navigate them is to be open and honest and communicate.
No.
What about you? What do you think?
I think we share similar sort of values around that. I think for me, I think we've ceased to live in a world where it's about being from the same place per se, but sharing the same ideals or sort of ideas about the world, because we know there are children in Zim right now who are exposed to life in Asia or in Europe, and maybe they really gravitate to that. And, you know, it's about where you feel comfortable being yourself. And I think that's the most important thing, is that in any relationship, you want to be comfortable to be who you are 100%. That can come in the form of a relationship with someone from your own home background, meets, you know, or someone from a completely different part of the world. And that has been really interesting to see, that you can share commonalities and get along with someone. So my partner, he is from the Czech Republic. So he's Czech. Czech is the language they speak here. So English is a second language. Fortunately, he's lived in different parts of Europe where English was a more dominant language. So I think that's where we connect on that end, and being open-minded in that way. But yeah, I'm a fan of it. I think you can't go into it with rose-colored glasses, and just there's a lot of stigma sometimes surrounding, you know, intercultural, interracial dating, in terms of what people are seeking in it and all that. You can't go into it with, you know, believing, oh, it's just going to be fairy tale, roses and butterflies. No. And you can't go into it like without understanding, as Amanda said, like the cultural implications, or like, this is what we do. That's something you need to be open and honest about. So I'm just pro being in a relationship where you can be 100% yourself, 100% true to yourself, 100% like authentic, and shared values, and find joy and peace being a really key thing there.
Because in a relationship, there's hurdles everywhere. Whether you're from the same culture, you could both be Zimbabwean.
Yes.
Both be Shona, or Ndebele, or Karanga, or Ndau.
Yes.
You could both do that and still struggle through it, you know.
Yes.
You could be from the same race, but then you are from different countries, like a Kenyan and a Zimbabwean.
Yes.
Or, you know, and you could still face. So it's like, there's never really a perfect scenario. People always assume that because you come from the same background, you're going to understand each other automatically.
Yes.
But sometimes, you know, all it takes is you just have to communicate whichever way, whichever backgrounds you have.
Yes.
Of course, it's nice sometimes to speak to someone in your mother tongue.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That will never be taken away. I'm sure it's nice to just, but at the same time, it's not such a hindrance that blocks you from finding someone who can really love you for you.
For sure. And I think, you really just want to be like, at least for me, it's like you want to be yourself and want to feel like someone hears you and you hear the other person in the relationship, bottom line. So however you find it, like, I think that's great. Yeah.
What do you think of people fetishizing like biracial? Like, because obviously you are in an interracial relationship. Yes. I am too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, black and white mixed babies, or black and Asian. Or, you see a lot of Instagram, social medias where it's like, oh, you know, I want to have that, you know, green eyes and dark skin or whatever it is.
Yeah. I think I understand where it comes from, and I understand that it stems from, you know, colonization, really, and the idea that white is right and black is bad, to put it bluntly. So it's these ideals that have been ingrained in us. So the fairer you are, the better looking you are. And, you know, us growing up in Zim, we've been talking about dating and how there was like almost like a hierarchy, fair, like going white, you know, mixed race or colored as we call in Zim, and then going to the fairer skinned of the black and then going down. It's been so ingrained in us. So people have this idea that it shows I'm someone of worth or value if I'm mixed race. My hair isn't as kinky. My hair, you know, falls a little straighter. And like I have these features that are not common or typical in that way. So I understand where it comes from. I think it's problematic because it says something to the brown skinned girl, cue Beyonce, brown skinned girl. Skin just like pearls, you know, or the black skinned girl, you know, who might be darker, to be like, well, you're not as cute a kid as this other person, right? And I think the reason why people fetishize mixed race children is because it's like the features are a bit unusual. It's not like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So you understand.
And you also, you don't have a you don't have a roadmap of how it will look. Because I've seen a lot of, like, I obviously have a lot of friends here who have kids now.
Yes.
And maybe they're in interracial relationships and they're going to have 2 kids or 3 kids and they all, even their hair, looking at how some of their hair is wavier, some is more on the Afro side. It's just a mix where you never know what's gonna
for sure
come out, so to speak.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I think if I was a biracial child, it would be very confusing.
Yes.
I think it would be like, what? I just want to be treated normally. I don't want to be like put on a pedestal. You know, at the same time, I think I completely agree with you. It all comes from colonialism or like what's perceived to be better.
Yeah.
So obviously, people who are purposely seeking to have kids with people who are not, you know, their same race, then I think that is a bit sad.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think there's a lot of work and layers to it for that specific person.
Yeah.
You know, at the same time, they're cute. It's like you look at the Pharrells of this world, you're like, Black and Asian, just, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%.
It's also from aesthetic point of view. It's like, wow, it actually does look nice. But at the same time, it's as long as it's being appreciated like that and not fetishized.
Yes.
Like people being made to feel like an other.
Yes.
Because I'm such a fan of Black love.
Absolutely.
Like, I think we just didn't see it enough, or healthy Black love.
Healthy Black love, that's the word.
Growing up, you know, seeing, you know, a lot of the media we grew up with was American media or maybe even British media. And it's always like the Black woman and the Black man are fighting. They're always in some sort of drama. And you just never saw, quote unquote, a normal couple just loving each other and just having normal kids. And so I think right now, this phase we're in, where people are celebrating Black love is beautiful. And even though I guess maybe in the American context, we might not always be considered part of that group because we're in an interracial relationship. I do still think we are also part of that because we are Black people who are in love.
Yes, but I get what you mean. Yeah,
certain pedestal that is there for a Black man and a Black woman. Yeah, and I do love seeing it.
I love it.
Like, oh, you know, it's beautiful. Yeah. And I think especially in the diaspora aspect, to actually leave your country and then find someone who is, if that luckily is from your country and you ticks all your boxes and you're completely happy. I do think it's a beautiful thing to both celebrate coming from home, and if it's a healthy relationship, I'm for it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it gives me so much joy. I think no one is prouder than like the two of us. Like we love things Black, by Black. Like we just like blackity black. There's a song by Toby Newi. I don't know how to say his name. It's called Hella Black. Literally, like I really am a proponent for Black, like love, Black culture.
I mean, even when we talk about skin, the Kelly Rowland, the Tiwa Savage,
like we just like
Peter, you're like, hey, just pour me with that melanin.
That skin is just like glowing, like it just. Anyway, sorry, come back to myself.
That is beautiful, man.
Yeah, so like I'm definitely like pro it. And I think we love it too because we know that Black love has been so, oppressed in a way. Like it's always, there's so much going against Black love to begin with, that it's like when you see someone who finds and there seems to be like a healthy union and joy and love, it's like, yes, you want them to win because it's winning for our whole culture, type of thing. So absolutely. Yeah. Any other thoughts on dating? Trust me, probably will come back to this topic many times.
We have to let it be to the people. They have to come back to us if there's anything they want us to specifically discuss, navigate, revisit, further explain as experts.
Self-proclaimed experts.
We have to, because I think dating is just ever evolving. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine who never tried online dating, and then when he broke up with his girlfriend 10 years in, he's like, how do I go back? Like, how I don't even know, and it's like, I think in the space we live in, with social media and everything, it is different. It is different.
It's a different playing
but at the same time, this whole goals thing is also another aspect we need to discuss,
which is also problematic
for the people.
Ways
it can be very problematic. Making sure you're ticking all getting the car, getting the house, getting the wedding, getting the we need to discuss that. So definitely, we are definitely going to revisit this episode and this topic. Because
there's so much. Zvinemalayers. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is It's Layered podcast. If you want to hit us up, you can email us. It's itslayedpod@gmail.com. That's itslayedpod@gmail.com. Or hit us up on our Instagram. It's Layered, literally just the name, itslayerd. And
hear from you.
Yes, thank you. I hope you've enjoyed our talks. These are just some of the conversations we have, and we look forward to chatting to you again soon. Take care, peace and love from us. Toodoo.
Bye, guys.
Bye.